So, welcome to the HR Book Club, the series where we meet the authors behind the very best HR books. Today, I'm joined by Natalie Ellis to discuss her book, Launch Your HR Career. Hi, Natalie, how are you?
Hi, Leon. I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. So, obviously, wanted to talk about your book, Launch Your HR Career. But before we do, I wonder if you could introduce yourself to the audience.
Crikey. I will try and keep it short for you. My name's Natalie Ellis. I am a Chartered Fellow of the CIPD. I am a HR consultant and have my own business, Rebox HR. I'm based in Northampton and I am married with 2 stepchildren and 2 French bulldogs. So there you go.
Excellent. Let's hope they don't bark. I've got my dog in the house as well. I'm always really worried that they're just going to start barking away.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more. I mean, it's a little bit self-explanatory in terms of who it's aimed at, I suppose. But tell us a bit more about Launch Your HR Career.
So people that I speak to that have read the book have interpreted the book in so many different ways. So it's very difficult for me to now say who it's applicable to.
Okay.
So it initially started out as an idea that was inspired by the students of the Midlands at the CIPD Midlands Student Conference back in 2018. So it was the biggest conference I'd ever spoken to. So I think there's about 270 or 300 people there. And after I'd closed, so I was the closing keynote speaker there. And after I'd closed and, we're all saying our goodbyes, there was this queue of people. And I said to Eleanor, who is the regional coordinator of the events and everything, and I just said to her, who are all these people waiting for? And she said, actually, Natalie, they're waiting to speak to you. So I haven't had a normal HR career at all. So when I'm conveying that, I don't just do all of the good bits. It's always the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, really, because HR careers are not straightforward and they're certainly not designed to be that dream staircase where you progress from administrator through to advisor through to business partner, then you become a HR manager and then you reach the pinnacle of your career as a director. It doesn't work that way. It's a very, it's pretty much a spaghetti bowl of a career. So what I wanted to do was, after speaking to all of these students and answering all of their questions, and every single one of them had a different question. There wasn't the same question twice. So I thought, well, actually, if I can take all of this that's in my head and all of my experiences and all of that stuff and dump it into something purposeful that people could use, then, I've always been told by my late nan, that I was meant to write a book. She actually wanted me to be an English teacher. So
Okay.
I was always writing books and being very creative as a child. So she said to me, Natalie, you have to write a book. So I'm sat there and I'm thinking, well, what can I write in terms of HR? Because I'm not, so I wouldn't say I'm a traditional HR practitioner. I'm very good with admin and organizational skills, and I actually was a travel agent before I went into HR. So I thought, well, actually, when you look at very businessy type HR books, there's lots and lots of them. So I thought, well, actually, there isn't a book like this, so why not? What's the worst that could happen? People don't buy it, but the people that do have really learned something from it. So I've found that it's been really beneficial to get that out there, and the feedback I've had on it has been wonderful. But there's also people that now use it to progress their careers in HR.
Okay.
So they refer to it quite a lot and dip in and out of it, and they're like, oh, Natalie, I went back and I had a look at an interview for the next step in my career and I've used this. And the amount of emails and messages I get on LinkedIn has just been really welcomed. So it's done much better than what I ever could have imagined it doing.
Fantastic. So it started off aimed really at those students and people looking to get into the profession. And actually what you found is that people already in the profession have still gone back to it, still read it, still use it as a bit of a toolkit, I suppose, for them. Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
So how did you find the whole writing process then?
I wrote it over a period, I would say, of about a year and a half, maybe.
Okay.
I have no idea on typography. I just got a Word document open and started typing away. And yeah, I managed to get some advice and guidance from those in the HR space that have written and published books of their own. I took a lot of inspiration from Joy Marsden, who wrote Keep Stepping, which is a fantastic book. And again, it's one I dip in and out of all the time. So looking at things that I knew I wanted something practical and that wasn't just, you know, telling someone how to do something. Actually, it's going into the really nitty-gritty stuff about how we find ourselves, as opposed to it being, this is what a HR person looks like and this is how they dress and this is how they behave. It's very much my unique take on how I've got to where I am now. Again, there's no cookie cutter to these things. So when you're sat there and you're writing a book, at times you just have a complete blank, and I had to walk away. So, and then I'd have to pick it up again one day and thought, you know, I just have to finish this. I have to actually get it out there. So I did. And when I started working with, so Amy Bradley is the lady who designs the cover for me. Okay. And the cover was inspired by Dr. Andy Coates' books. So he wrote Shine and Happiness and things like that. He does also quite a lot of talks in various HR events and things like that. But I was really inspired. And on the back of Andy's book, it's got cover art by Amy Bradley. And I'm not going to lie, Leon, I had a couple of wines and I got myself some courage to email this lady and say, look, would you consider working with me? And to make it not look businessy at all, because I didn't want it to feel like that. I wanted it to be picked up, and it's almost like a friend is having a conversation with you. It's a hug in a HR book, really, that says, do you know what, it doesn't matter whereabouts in your career that you are, you will get there, just as long as you have that determination and that you are developing yourself in the right ways. Because I get asked a lot about levels of qualifications and all of that stuff. I only finished my level 7 in January this year. Eventually, after 16 years of HR, I've finished it. And a lot of people expect you to have had that for years, but most of my experience comes from being in the role, as opposed to it being I didn't get the chance to go to university. And I wanted to give people the opportunity to be able to pick it up and to be inspired and to really just appreciate and be grateful at where they are at that point, and understand that the good things are coming. But it's just about being patient and kind to yourself and working your way through to be able to get there, because we're not often very kind to ourselves when things aren't going right. So I just wanted to give people that reassurance, as I said, like a friend who is having that conversation. I've been there and I've done it. I can't tell you, Leon, how many times I've been rejected for jobs, or have found that dream opportunities have been kind of closed on my face and things like that. These things teach you so many lessons, but because we're in that moment, we don't always realize why this is happening and where it's leading us to. So I'm very much a believer that everything happens for a reason.
Fantastic. So it's been, we'd say it's been a success. So do you have plans? Is there something else that's kind of, because I know you're very passionate about obviously the profession and what you're doing. Is there any other books in the pipeline, something you might want to be writing about?
I think as I've developed it myself into having my own business and having, you know, some amazing opportunities to work with some incredible companies, and my clients are awesome. I get to work with people that I really love working with every day. I get to have my business name above the door and all sorts of things. But again, my heart and my roots are always in that HR space. So first and foremost, I'm a HR person before I am a business person. So I think I would consider writing another book. So possibly looking at, I don't know, something maybe progress your HR career. I'm not quite sure, but I'd like to keep it within that theme. If the opportunity arose, I would love to do it.
Yeah, fantastic. And I suppose I know you write quite a bit anyway in terms of your blog and stuff like that as well. So I suppose some of those ideas are going in there, and maybe there'll be a book coming out in the future on that basis. So we always end our HR book clubs with a recommendation of one HR book. They seem to get longer every interview. So if you could have just one HR book that you would recommend, which one would it be?
Oh no, this is so hard. I read so many different HR books. But one that I found that oh gosh, there's two in my head. That's cheating.
You can say both, but I really want that one. Which are the two?
It has to be Steve Brown's HR on Purpose. It has to be. Steve, I've never met Steve in real life. He's based over the pond, but he, honestly, the way he writes is very personable. It's really, it's not a very theory-based book. It's actually saying that this is how we take it, you know, purposeful actions, and this is how we make a difference. And he's very much a groundbreaker. So yeah, but the other book I was thinking of is Getting Nadin, and that is A World of Good. That book is incredible.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll let you have two.
I'm sorry, guys. I've got two.
No, that's cool. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Natalie, and obviously best wishes with the business and the continued success of Launch Your HR Career as well.
Oh, bless you. Thank you very much, Leon.